All right. We're rolling again. We're doing this again. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the second episode of Cinema Saturdays. That's the name of the podcast, right?
Yep. Cinema Saturdays.
Okay. I've kind of forgot for a second. I'm here with my dad, and I'm his son, Blake Buchanan. This is my dad, Ben Buchanan. I hope I'm his son anyways.
Really?
How you doing today, Dad?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
I'm glad to see you woke up to do this podcast. 3:30 in the afternoon.
I woke up. I'm surprised you're not in the bathroom for 45 minutes. Surprised I didn't have to wait on you. Anyway. How are you, Dad?
I'm good.
Yeah, you had a good week?
It's only Monday.
It is only Monday.
It's the first day of the week. I don't know how you judge a week on one day.
But we have to address an elephant in the room that I addressed on my Instagram. We missed watching the movie on Saturday. We technically watched the movie on Sunday.
Yep.
Why was that, Dad?
Where did we go?
We went to Fan Expo Dallas. We'll talk about that trip a little bit.
Yeah, and who did you get to meet?
We met so many awesome people, like this up-and-coming actor named Michael J. Fox, and this other up-and-comer called Christopher Lloyd. And I'll put the two pictures up on screen now of me with Michael J. Fox and Christopher Lloyd. But that was a pretty awesome trip. That was a pretty awesome, pretty cool trip. Who else did we see, Dad?
Tom Wilson, which is Biff.
Yeah.
And who else?
And Priscilla Presley. Also, who was in last week's movie we reviewed, Naked Gun.
Yep, she was in
Naked Gun. And we met Hank Azaria from The Simpsons, who does a bunch of voices on The Simpsons. And we saw, let's see, who else?
We met Leah Thompson.
And Seth Green. And Frank Grillo, who's in the new Superman. And, yeah, it was just really cool. Anyway, Dad, what movie are we going to talk about today?
The Iron Giant.
The Iron Giant. Directed by Brad Bird, and I had never seen this movie before. I had missed out. I had so many opportunities to watch it when I was younger. There was just something that just like, I don't know if I was scared of the movie. I don't know if anything, but yeah. And I know you'd never seen it before.
Nope, never seen it.
Never, because apparently nobody really liked it when it came out. Nobody liked it when it came out, which is surprising. Which I learned because afterwards, when I watched the movie afterwards, I watched the documentary. They made a documentary like a few years ago about the Iron Giant, and it kind of went into detail of how it was made and everything, and like the reason he made the movie and like how it bombed like horribly when it came out. But yeah.
So what was the reason why he made the movie?
The reason he made the movie was because Brad Bird's sister was taken from the world from gun violence by a gun, and that wasn't the reason he made the movie, but it was just he connected a bunch of the themes of the film and the book. It's based on a book too. It's based on a book from the 60s called The Iron Man. I'll see if I can find like an audio version of that book. Not sponsored by Audible, but I'll see if I can find like an audio version of the book and I can listen to it. But yeah, this movie has a very clear anti-gun message, and which is kind of a coincidence because wasn't Columbine 99? Columbine?
Yeah, 99.
98, 99? This movie came out in 99? I think. I don't know. But it has a very clear gun message. Oh, that's cool. He's showing me the voice cast. Who's in this cast, Dad? For this movie?
Vin Diesel, Jennifer Aniston, Christopher McDonald.
Christopher McDonald. He's the bad guy from Happy Gilmore. He's the dude from Happy Gilmore.
Yep. Bill Farmer.
Bill Farmer.
Very own Kansan.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's right. Bill Farmer is from Kansas. Yeah, that's I forgot about that. That's right. No, Vin Diesel's in this. I didn't realize that until I watched the movie. That's like pre Fast and Furious. That's pre Fast and Furious Vin Diesel. That's like before Vin Diesel became a hack and like a piece of shit. That's like before. So, yeah. And Christopher McDonald is the bad guy. He plays the army, like the guy from the government.
The detective.
Guy from the government. And in Happy Gilmore, he plays basically the same. He plays the bully character.
Shooter McGavin.
Shooter McGavin. Was that his name?
Yep.
Shooter?
Yep.
That's crazy.
Shooter McGavin.
I eat pieces of shit like you for breakfast. You eat pieces of shit for breakfast? No. I thought yeah. Anyway, let's talk about the movie. Let's talk about this movie. Dad, you want to start us off? Get us going about this movie?
Well, what do you want to start with?
You can just start from any point.
Start with the beginning, where everybody thought that he was some alien from outer space.
It kind of was.
Some monster that come through and killed power to the town.
I thought it was like Sputnik. Because this movie, I learned after, and it was clear now that I think about it. Also, side note, the day we rented the movie to watch it, it went up free on YouTube with ads. The day. And I was honestly really pissed off because that would have been way easier. But it's fine. Yeah. They thought he was a Sputnik. They thought he was Sputnik. There was that like crazy old guy in the diner, who I think was the same guy on the ship at the beginning. He was like, I saw it. It was a like an alien, and then the guy who made the art out of trash.
The artist.
Yeah, the artist guy. He was like, yeah, I saw him too. And then the kid's like, you did? And he's like, no, I just want to keep the fire going. Yeah, and then the kid brought in a squirrel.
Yeah, he was one to pet.
I thought that was a funny visual gag. Our computer's going off on us. Hold on 1 second. No, he always wanted to, well, it's implied that he's had many pets, sort of.
Yeah.
You know, the raccoon.
Yeah, and he didn't take care of them.
Doesn't take care of them. And then, you know, it's just, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't take care of them. And then just out of nowhere, he becomes friend. He saves the giant. What's his actual name? Is it just the Iron Giant? It's just the Iron Giant. Okay. He saves the Iron Giant because that's apparently his name. His actual name is not Giant. Anyway, yeah, he saves him. He eats metal, which I thought was a little silly. I don't really understand that. That I don't know if that's considered cannibalism or not.
I don't know why. What it is that he gets power from the metal. Just must be because he's all metal.
Well, that's called cannibalism. That's considered cannibalism. So, I don't know why that is. Man, we suck at this. We suck at podcasting. This is the second week. We were late on this second episode. It's still going to go up the same day, but I don't want to pretend like, oh, it's Sunday and we watched the movie on Saturday. No, we did.
Yeah.
We didn't.
We watched it Sunday.
That's it. I'm quitting. I'm out. I'm done.
And then
I'm done. I'm out. I'm done. I'm out. What?
well,
Yeah.
so let's talk about all the powers he had that we didn't find out till like the end of the movie.
Yeah, so near the end of the film. Well, first, let's talk about that scene with the deer. So it would make more sense.
Okay.
So you want to talk about a little bit about the scene with the deer?
Were they going through the woods, come across the hunters, and the hunters shoot the deer?
Well, no. It's like a build-up thing. They see the deer first, and then
they see the deer first, and then they see the hunters.
Well, they don't see him. He gets killed off screen. They just hear the gunshots and they run after it. But yeah, I actually in the documentary they made, apparently that scene was very hard to figure out because they were trying to think of a way for the Iron Giant to see the fact that he died, but they also didn't want him to cause it. So there was like storyboards of him crushing the deer with his hand and him stomping on the deer, but then Brad Bird was like, no, we can't do that. So they just resorted to hunters shooting the deer, and they figure out what death. He figures out what death is, and the fact that souls don't die, but he learns the concept of death, and that really there's the whole thing with guns kill, and and then it sets him off because then the kid's trying to shoot him with a fake gun, then he gets.
So let's hold on.
So
they're in the junkyard.
Yeah.
Where the guy stores all of his stuff to make art. And he's acting like he's shooting him with a gun, and it triggers him.
Yeah,
and then it's a flashback. And it turns into a completely different robot.
And then he calls him, and then the guy calls him a gun. And he calls him Am I boring you?
No.
Is this podcast boring you?
No.
God. When are we going to sell Bitcoin? When are we going to start that? Guys, buy the Cinema Coin with my ex. Go to my ex. Just kidding. What were we talking about? What movie is this?
The Iron Giant.
Oh.
Talking about the scene in the junkyard where he's shooting him with the gun, and it gives a flashback, and he tells him that he doesn't have to be the gun.
He doesn't have to. Well, first he calls him a gun, and he's like, I'm not gun, and then he goes off and he does this rampage through town, and then he turns into this a whole other robot with laser eyes, and he's got a super he's got an atomic bomb in his chest, and he's got like a taser for another arm, and his arm can turn into a gun, and he could fly. And we've got like 20 minutes of the movie left. Maybe not even that. No, it is about that. And we got 20 minutes of this movie left, and now he's being useful. He's not just sitting there.
Yeah. And then the government detective guy rents the room from his mom just to try to figure out about this giant.
Yep. And
so he finds a camera in the woods with pictures that Hogarth took. That shows him and the giant together. The robot.
We're not going to talk about the laxatives.
Oh yeah.
He gives them laxatives.
Yeah, he puts laxatives on his ice cream sundae to try to shake him to get away from him.
Yep. And that's what he does. And then he actually interrogates Hogarth. And there's this. So little background. So the Iron Giant is now staying with the guy at the junkyard. Yep. He's staying there because Hogarth obviously can't keep him in his house. There's that funny part before he rinsed the room. You remember where he's trying to find his hand, and his hand's just kind of walking around the house acting like a dog. And I'm sorry, this podcast is really boring you. He's walking around. He's walking around like a dog. So that's basically how that whole conflict started, and that's how he kind of learned how. Hey, I can't keep you in my house, so we'll just, you can stay at the junkyard. And first of all, the guy's like, no. There's this really funny scene where when he first gets to the junkyard and he has coffee with him, and he drinks coffee. That was I think. If I remember in the documentary, that was the only scene that Brad Bird and
wasn't just coffee, it was cappuccino. And Hogarth drank cappuccino and was wired.
Or was it espresso?
Yeah, espresso.
Might have been espresso. But if I remember from the documentary, that's the only scene that Brad Bird animated himself.
Scene?
He didn't animate anything else himself.
Huh.
So, yeah.
Wow.
But he stays at the junkyard, and then when they're finally all right, let's go get this giant. They come to the junkyard. He's like, yeah, I got the iron guy in here, and it's just he pretends to be a statue.
Yeah. Well, they put street signs on him to make it look like they made him as a piece of art.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And then we get the most useless plot point, which is that the mom and the art trash guy, they fall in love, and it has no.
But hold on, before that happens, you skipped way too far ahead.
No. Because if you were paying attention like me, you would see kind of a kindle between the two, and she's complimenting his art.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well then, so the military comes to town because he calls them and says, "I got evidence of the giant."
Yeah.
And then they go to leave, and two boys about to fall off of a building, and he runs back into town and saves them.
Yeah.
And exposes himself to everybody. So now the military turns around, and it's full on destroy the giant.
And they call an atomic bomb. There's this whole message with atomic. There's that really funny PSA. You remember where
we're watching the movie,
the duck and cover song.
We're watching the movie in the class.
Yeah, watching the PSA in class, and it's the duck and cover, and it's it's modeled after a 1950s alphabets cartoon commercial thing.
Yeah.
And I just think I honestly forgot that this movie. I didn't know that this movie took place in the 1950s. Honestly, until the rock and roll music started playing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had no idea this movie took place in the 50s. So.
Well, I thought they said at the beginning, they said the year. Like 56, wasn't it?
I don't remember.
Yeah, I think they did.
Let's watch the movie again right now on this podcast. That's disgusting. Couldn't have held it in for another hour. God. So yeah. I don't get how people didn't like this movie when it first came out.
Yeah, hard to say.
Alright, we're back. Yeah, I don't get how people didn't like it when it first came out. Because it's really, really good.
So when did animation start making a comeback? It was about that time, wasn't it?
Start making a comeback? What do you mean by that?
Well, there wasn't a whole lot of animation movies other than...
Disney.
Right.
Disney was still making movies. This movie, all Brad Bird honestly wanted to do was beat Disney. That's all, because he first worked at Disney, and then he was fired from Disney.
Then he went to Warner Brothers.
Then he went to Warner Brothers.
And did that.
First he wanted to do a movie called Ray Gun, which is a movie. Let's see if I can get Ray Gun pulled up. He wanted to do a movie called Ray Gun, which is a movie he's still going to make. He's been talking about making that movie for almost 30 years. Ray Gun is in production with Skydance Animation. Okay? So, Ray Gun is still being made. But Warner Brothers didn't want to make Ray Gun. So they said to Brad, we have so many animated movies in development right now. Which one would you like to do? And they gave him options, and he picked the Iron Man. He read the book and became the Iron Giant. Hold up. This is an ASMR podcast. Oh! Okay. So, yeah, he wanted to make that, but they were like, no, we'll just do something else. So, yeah. But,
so did Disney end up buying Pixar?
I think Disney was already Pixar since 1995.
But he got fired by Disney and then hired by Pixar.
In the 80s, he got fired from Disney. In the early to late 80s, he was fired.
Early 80s?
I think early 80s he was fired from Disney. Yeah. But nobody liked it. And I know why. Is because they only had... An animated movie usually gets 5, maybe even 6 years to make the movie. But the Iron Giant only had 2 years to make the movie. So they were on a very tight schedule. And it was ready to be released, but Warner Brothers wasn't marketing it. They didn't release trailers for it. And then they finally did. What Brad Bird compared it to was Tarzan. Came out in 1999. Tarzan came out. And they already had teaser posters 2 years in advance. So they knew that Tarzan was coming, but they had no idea that Iron Giant was coming. So finally, they released a poster, they released trailers, but the thing is the trailers and TV spots that came out for the Iron Giant made it look like it was this like super epic, like fun, like funny, like rock hard, like 90s like animated movie, and Brad Bird was pissed.
So that's probably why they didn't have much success in the beginning.
Mm-mm.
It was because they didn't market it. If you don't market something, nobody knows it's coming.
Well, they were just they marketed it. They were just very late, and they didn't market it well.
They didn't market it enough.
Mm-mm. I think the marketing for that movie is very important. I'm trying to learn more about Ray Gunn. I'm interested in Ray Gunn now.
See what else Ray Gunn has done.
No, Ray Gunn is the movie that Brad Bird
Oh, the movie Ray Gunn.
is going to make. Or he's wanted to make for like 30 years. That's a long time to be attached to a project. Yeah, I don't know if it's going to be made because he's also writing, and I'm pretty sure he's obviously going to direct Incredibles 3.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's going to be made, and I think he's already written that movie. I think they've said, or he's started. So I don't know. But like nobody liked the Iron Giant, but like people in the animation world, they loved it. That's when John Lasseter, first of all, fuck John Lasseter. He's a piece of shit. Anyway, that's when piece of shit was like, hey, you want to come work at Pixar?
Yeah. It's one of the better movies he made.
Yeah, that's where
Incredibles is one of the more popular movies.
he also did Ratatouille. Did Ratatouille too?
Bird did Ratatouille.
Mm-hmm. He did Ratatouille, and he did Mission Impossible 4.
Ray Bird did Mission Impossible 4.
He directed Mission Impossible.
Wow.
And he also did a movie called Tomorrowland with George Clooney.
Tomorrowland with George Clooney. I don't know if I ever heard of that one or not.
I think it came out like a few years ago.
Yeah.
See, director, Ray Gunn. He's directing. Yep, Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. He was the director. He was also the director of... He did some episodes of The Simpsons.
The Simpsons?
He did 2 episodes of The Simpsons.
Yeah. Wow. Cool.
I think he was also like... Oh, and he also did he also did the music video for "Do the Bartman," which is like one of the most popular like music videos for The Simpsons. Probably the most well known. I think Michael Jackson.
I think Michael Jackson
wrote that song. I think, or he had something to do with it. But yeah, he was also. He is also additional crew on Toy Story, all the Toy Stories. All the Toy Story movies. A lot of the Pixar movies. He's additional director, and he's a voice director. He's also an actor. He's been in some stuff. Brad Bird has been in some stuff. He's also an actor. Is he acting?
Well, he did the voice too of in Incredibles.
He did.
Did the voice of Auntie Edna.
Edna Mode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He was the voice of. He was in Jurassic World, the first one. He did a little cameo as a voice.
Yeah.
A little voice cameo in that movie. And yeah. Yeah, I want to see him do more movies because he was also an executive producer on King of the Hill for 16 episodes.
Did you see one of the King of the Hill actors got shot?
I did see that.
King of the Hill and Parks and Recreation.
Parks and Rec? That guy was on Parks and Rec?
Yep. He was like a sergeant or something. Played one of the park rangers.
Oh.
He was a regular at that too.
He was, producer on King of the Hill for 16 episodes. He was an executive consultant on The Simpsons for 108 episodes. 180. Sorry, that's a lot of episodes.
Yeah, that is a lot of episodes.
I'm just going down Brad Bird's filmography now. He was a writer on, of course, The Incredibles. He is uncredited for being the screenwriter of The Iron Giant.
Really?
He's uncredited for that.
Huh. Why is that?
I have no idea. He was... Oh, I forgot he was the creator of Family Dog. That's a funny show. It's a very underrated show.
Right.
But he was the creator of that. Yeah. Of course, he gets a based on credit for everything that the Incredibles characters are in.
Right.
Like the video games and Incredibles 2 and Incredibles 3 he's the writer on. And I'd be surprised if he doesn't direct the third Incredibles movie. I wonder what they're going to do with that one. With Incredibles.
I don't know.
See, director, additional crew. There's Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. Which I cannot believe he was the director of. I had no idea that he directed Mission Impossible.
I didn't either.
It's kind of strange.
But is that something we need to go watch Mission Impossible?
Yeah. All
even though you said you didn't want to.
All 8 of them. There's 8 of those movies. I bet that new one's going to be in theaters for a while. Because Tom Cruise just loves...
It's like Top Gun, and it will be. It'll be forever.
Yeah. Well, I think it's the last Mission Impossible movie. We talked about Mission Impossible last episode. Talking about it this episode. Even though this has nothing to do with Tom Cruise. It has nothing to do with the movies.
Yep.
That we talk about because he's not in any of them. We'll watch Mission Impossible at some point.
Yep. At some point we will.
We'll watch them at some point. If we don't, sell people Bitcoin and become sellouts, and our podcast just goes down and burns, goes downhill and burns, then yeah. We'll talk about Mission Impossible at some point. I don't. Incredibles 3, where's that at? Excuse me. See, I have decency to say. Excuse me. That's the second one. Incredibles. Three. What's going on? What's going on with Incredibles 3 over here? Is there an Incredibles 3 coming out? Yes, there is. Hits theaters by 2027. We'll see not Mission Impossible. The Incredibles 3.
Incredibles 3.
We'll see The Incredibles. Got the same with Toy Story 5. Well, that comes out a year earlier. Toy Story 5, we gotta talk about Toy Story, but we've seen all those. I don't know. We'll get to it at some point. We'll get to a lot of movies at some point. Like, I know I want to show you Frankenstein at some point because you've never seen Frankenstein. Which I think Frankenstein and the Iron Giant are a lot alike. I think there's a lot of similarities between Frankenstein and the Iron Giant and a lot of movies that we've watched.
You think so?
Kind of. I mean, he doesn't, bond a friendship with a little girl or little kid at some point. But,
right.
Like in, Iron Giant with the kid. But I think they're very similar in just, like, concept.
Yeah.
I think they're very much the same. Anyway, let's talk about some fun facts.
All right.
Of the movie.
Fun facts of the movie.
No, you look it up because apparently you got mad at me last episode.
For what? I did not.
You got mad at me last episode because I said that I wanted to look stuff up and you were pulling your big boy pants up and you said, no, I wanna look things up. So you look up fun facts about the Iron Giant. Get back on track. Let's go. I also noticed that the Iron Giant has really not appeared in any, like, recent media. Like, we've never gotten anything outside of the first movie ever since. Like, I was expecting... They'll probably, like, remake it in, like, 20 years or something. They'll probably remake it like they... Like,
maybe.
Studios always do. I don't know how you would...
So, the giant himself, excluding yells and groans, only says 53 words in total in the whole movie.
Interesting. And the giant is voiced by who?
Vin Diesel.
Vin Diesel.
The last name of Annie and Hogarth, Hughes, is a homage to Ted Hughes, the author of the original children's book upon which the film is based.
That's cool. I didn't notice that.
We know it's based on the novel. Hughes.
We know he dedicated the film to his sister and everything about his sister, so we know everything about that.
The scene of the giant's hand is in the living room watching a Maypost cereal advertisement was changed in the signature edition to an advertisement of Disneyland's attraction Tomorrowland.
Can they even legally do that?
Hold on. So Brad originally wanted the Tomorrowland advert in the film as a homage to his mentors, but Disney did not give him clearance to use it.
That's right.
And it says Bird ended up directing the film Tomorrowland in 2015.
Coincidence. We gotta watch that. We should just go on a whole like Brad Bird like experience. We should watch all Brad Bird's movies.
Yeah. So this is the first traditionally animated feature to have a major character, the title character, who is fully computer generated.
And that would be the giant, right? That'd be the giant who is computer animated.
Yep.
I would have guessed.
So when the giant looks over the hill at Rockwell, the town, there is a moving star near the moon on the right-hand side.
Mm-hmm.
This is meant to be Sputnik.
Oh, makes sense. Space race. This movie takes place some point during the space race or after.
So the film is set in 1957. The same year Brad Bird was born.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Okay. I didn't know that. Brad Bird. Let's look at Mr. Bird here. He kind of looks like Mr. Incredible. You notice that?
Yeah, that's what they said. They said that he based Mr. Incredible off of him a little bit.
Mr. Brad Bird. Movies. We gotta watch all Brad Bird's movies for the podcast.
In the signature edition, 2 previously deleted scenes were added to the film. These scenes were previously only available on special edition DVD and unfinished in Amex.
Were those deleted scenes? Because I might know.
It doesn't say what they
I
are.
might know one of them. Let's look up the Iron Giant. Iron Giant. They talk about this signature collection a lot. This signature edition a lot. Signature edition. Oh, whoa, cool. Can I still buy it? Hell yeah.
So, according to Brad Bird in the documentary The Giant's Dream,
That's what I watched last night.
Warner Brothers failed to promote the film until 4 months before release.
Yep. That happened recently with Lilo and Stitch. The new Lilo and Stitch. They didn't market it until like 4 months or 5 maybe before the movie came out. And now that's like the standard for movies now. Like they drop like a teaser like 5 months before, like 6 months before. So now that's like not like out of the ordinary.
Yeah.
That's
So-
not out of the ordinary.
So for the voice of the giant, they considered Peter Cullen, Sean Connery, Frank Welker, and James Earl Jones.
Sean Connery. God, I am not a gun. I am not gun. Will I die? James Earl Jones would have been cool. I feel like that would have been a little bit scary. Peter Cullen would have been awesome, and Frank Welker would have been cool. Those are 2 names I know. I know those two.
So the Iron Giant was originally meant to be a musical.
Oh yeah, that's right. But then Brad Bird was like, "No, I don't want that. I don't want that. That's how he sounds too. He goes, "I don't want that." He goes, "Mickey Mouse is PG. Warner Brothers, Bugs Bunny." No. He said There's a part in the documentary where he's doing a Q&A with the crew, and somebody asked him like, "What do you think of how the audiences will react to this being PG and having such a dark meaning?" And he goes, "Well, Disney, Mickey Mouse, G, Bugs Bunny, PG." All right. That's how Brad Bird sounds, guys. And if you don't believe me, just go watch an interview with Brad Bird, and you'll know exactly what the hell I'm talking about. Here we go, the signature edition. Oh yeah.
So when did the signature edition come out?
That's a good question. Release date. No, I'm talking about that. I'm talking about the release for the 2016.
2016.
Oh, here we go. Is the Iron Giant 2 happening? Listen to this, Dad.
Yep.
Is Iron Giant 2 happening? Vin Diesel may have hinted at Iron Giant 2, but director Brad Bird says it's not going to happen. Vin Diesel is a busy man with sequels right now, given his plans to start shooting XX3 starting December before moving on to Fast and Furious 8. So, no Iron Giant 2?
He did Fast and Furious?
Who? No. Vin Diesel?
Oh.
No, Vin Diesel didn't do that movie.
No.
No, I don't even know who that is. I don't even know what a Fast and Furious is.
Some weirdo.
A guy. Got any other facts?
No.
No more facts?
That's about all of them.
You got no more?
No.
I got a fact. In the scene where he's stopping where he puts the train track back together and he gets ran over by the train, one of the train conductor is voiced by a guy named Frank Thomas. Frank Thomas was a original Disney animator in the 40s and in the like late 30s. And he worked up until, I think, the 70s.
And Ollie? Frank and Ollie?
Yeah.
So that they paid homage to those two guys with that.
And they're also voiced by both of them, which I think is cool. He worked on a bunch of, like, the Donald Duck cartoons and everything. And, yeah, Iron Giant. Now, I'm curious. Would they ever do a live action remake of the Iron Giant? Would they ever do a live action remake of the Iron Giant?
I don't know. With all the CGI now, it'd be easy to do.
That'd be super expensive, though. That'd be really expensive.
Yeah.
That'd be super expensive to do. I think it would be really interesting. Because we've got all these live-action remakes coming out now, and I was watching it, and I don't usually like the live-action remakes. I like some of them, but I was just being like, man, this could be so cool as a live-action movie, but maybe that's just me. Because they're also doing, which will review not next week for the podcast, but the week after. I want to review the new How to Train Your Dragon live action. I want to do that.
That one?
I want to do that one because next week you will not be here for the podcast.
I will be here this weekend.
So it's going to be me for the podcast.
I will be here this weekend.
Nope. So it's just going to be me for the podcast.
I won't be here on... I'll be here next weekend.
I thought you weren't.
The weekend after. The weekend after.
I thought you weren't going to be here next weekend.
And I'll probably be home on Saturday.
Yeah, so that's why I'm going to do it by myself, because I don't know what time you'll be home on Saturday. And I have no idea. So I'll be doing the podcast by myself, all alone, by myself. But I'll probably get a new co-host for that week.
A new co-host for that week.
For next week. But you will not be here for the podcast next week. Will not be here for the podcast. So I don't know, and I know what movie I'm going to review. I know we know what movie. Let's just go ahead and share what movie we're going to review. What movie I'm going to review next week.
Okay.
Now, this is a movie that you've seen. You've seen before. Do you remember what the movie is? Do you forget?
I forgot.
Oh my gosh. This movie that you've seen.
Oh, Teen Wolf.
Yeah, we're gonna watch Teen Wolf next week.
The first one.
Teen Wolf, not the TV series.
No, the first one.
No, it's showing me the TV series, and I don't want the TV series. I want the movie. Teen Wolf the movie.
That's not it.
Oh my god. Why? What's the difference? Like, there we go. Teen Wolf next week.
There you go. All right.
Episode 3, Teen Wolf, with Michael J. Fox. We met Michael J. Fox.
You met Michael J. Fox.
We met Michael.
Oh, all I got to do was walk by him. I didn't get to take a picture with him.
I did. I did.
That's what I'm saying. I didn't get to.
What was it?
I was just the money guy.
Dad, stop trying to make it out like I'm a terrible person. No, don't stop it. We're not done. I want to talk a little bit more.
What do you want to talk about?
Let's talk about Michael J. Fox real quick.
All right, let's talk about Michael J. Fox.
What was it like to see Michael J. Fox in person?
Well, it was kind of different not knowing with his Parkinson's what shape he's in, how much interaction he would have with anybody or be able to do anything. But I gotta say that I thought he looked pretty good.
Yeah.
I didn't think.
He looked great.
Yeah.
He looked like he was having a good time, too.
Yeah.
Didn't look tired or anything. He looked like he was having a great time. He was laughing with everybody at his signing.
Yeah.
He was laughing. It went by really quick. I was expecting... So, to preface this, they left Michael J. Fox in a separate setting from everybody else. So when you go to a convention, everybody's in this massive area with tables upon tables, with not just like there's booths of like toys and weird art and art of naked women and like all this weird stuff, and then there's like the wall of celebrity, like different rows of celebrities. Michael J. Fox was not there. He was in another part of the convention center with him and Orlando Bloom. Who else was there then?
Michael J. Fox, John Cena, Mr. T, Fluffy.
Fluffy was like with everybody else though.
Right. So the only ones that were in the room by themselves was Michael J. Fox, John Cena, and Mr. T.
Yeah. Which, understandable. They don't want people tackling Michael J. Fox because people are crazy.
Well, I don't think it was just that. It was more of a... They kept him in that other room. He didn't have to move around as much.
Yeah. But they did bring him out to they did a panel and...
Yeah,
and
they did a panel.
They did a panel with everybody from Back to the Future. Like, a lot of people from Back to the Future were there. Even Michael J. Fox's stunt double
was there, yeah.
Was there. Which I thought was crazy. But no, they did a big panel. And I was a little disappointed because... In everybody else, because... when we went to the photo op, nobody was talking to Michael J. Fox. Nobody was saying hi, hello to Michael J. Fox at all.
Yeah.
Nobody was saying hi. So I had to go up there, and I was like, hey, how you doing? And, like, I was expecting no response, but he was like, I'm good, how are you? And I'm like, I'm great. I'm a big fan. He goes, thank you so much. So it was just, it made me really sad. First of all, it was cool that I got to talk to Michael J. Fox for at least a second. But it was also sad because people were just treating him like a statue. Because when he's sitting there, he's not standing up. He's sitting there.
Sitting in a chair.
In a chair. And people were just putting his hand on him. Just like taking pictures. Saying, all right, next. And no interaction at all. I just felt sad. I go, I'm such a big fan. Thank you so much. He's like, oh, no problem. Thank you.
Yeah.
That just made me really sad. Anyway. Yeah. That was pretty cool.
Yep.
That was pretty cool. Did you tell anybody at work today?
A couple people.
Did they think you were the coolest kid on the block?
Well, I technically didn't get to meet him, so I don't know why they think I was the coolest kid on the block.
Do they think I'm the coolest kid on the block?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah, I am. Anyway, we're gonna review Teen Wolf. I'm gonna review Teen Wolf next week. And my dad's telling me to hurry up. He don't know. He's got nothing to do with his life. Anyway, we'll see you. I'll see you next week. Not him, because he's going away to hang out at some business trip or something. No. He's walking away from the podcast. Any last words? Anything you guys say?
No, we'll see you next week.
I'll see you next week.
I will be.
Not you.
I'll be here next week.
Not you. I'll be here next week. That's right. You walk away. You walk away. He's walking away. He's crying right now. He's sobbing. He's actually like so sad right now because he's sobbing. He's sobbing. No. He's taking my setup away. He's taking everything away. Anyway. I'll see you next week. Have a good, what day is it, Dad? Monday. Have a great Monday, but technically have a great Wednesday because we upload the podcast on Wednesday. Anyway, goodbye, everyone. Peace out. We'll see you next week for Teen Wolf. I'll see you next week for Teen Wolf. God damn!